How we doing, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Ron Swanson. We're here for our Code Red with the one and only Quinn O'Flynn, author of Blowback, Central Intelligence Agency, America's T word that I can't say because we're in the first 10 minutes of this, but it rhymes with schmererists. All right. Thank you very much for coming and joining us, Quinn. You are out in Egypt, and it's been quite an interesting little to and forth to get you back and to get you on, but it's great that you're here. Thanks so much for being here. Tell our audience and our community a little bit about yourself, who you are.
And glad to be here with you. I am in Egypt, and oh, there's the book. I need the hat then. Right?
You need the hat.
All right, there we go.
You got it.
I am here in Egypt, and it's actually a windy night here in Dahab, so I hope you can hear me, and I hope the wind stays down. But yeah, I've been a world traveler for the last 5 years after I raised my kids to take off and just decided to see the world and kind of educate myself. And then 2 years ago, after October 7th, I said, what the heck is going on, man? I don't believe what I'm seeing. I need to go see it for myself. And so in early November, 2 years ago, I came here, and I was just blown away, man. I've been here since, and have been very, very active in helping the displaced Palestinians here, but also educating myself as an American. I didn't know anything about this, right? Mea culpa, mea culpa, mea maxima culpa. One of the things I started learning about is the complicity of our own country, the United States, in everything that has happened. And as I researched, I was just blown away about the CIA. Really was one of the things, and like, you know, which started terrorism, really, which was the toppling of Iran, right? And then controlling it for 26 years into the Iran Revolution. And so I started studying that, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's so many of these examples. And so I wrote this book, and I wanted to write it from the perspective, not just factual, but the perspective of like, from the victims who experienced this. And so each of these 22 incidents is basically like just a short summary of the incident, but then it's about a 1,500 word story from one of the victims who experienced this. So that, like, and not just as Americans, but I wrote it for myself and for other Americans, so that we can really understand what our country does to people. Because as I've traveled, that's what I've started to understand as I'm sitting hearing stories. Like, wow, like this is what our tax dollars have done. And now we see that on full display with Israel and what they're doing to the Palestinians, the fact that they're paying for it. They're $21 billion a year they're paying. We're paying to Israel to do this kind of crap. So it's just, as an American, it's crazy for me to finally like wake up and start to understand this stuff. And I just want to share it with other people and start really questioning, like, what's our government doing, you know? So
100%.
Anyway, that's a long introduction. I'm sorry.
No, listen. And I'll be honest,
I'm a talker, man.
Well, look, you're up against my ADHD, so we're going to be like two stags, right? Like bashing horns together at some point, but that's fine. I think it goes for almost every nation, really. The Western world seems to have this flavor for control and shadow government shenanigans and
colonialism.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think what we should probably do, Quinn, right, is take us through your journey, right? Take us through some of the stories you've heard, really what opened your eyes, and what sort of brought you up to where we are now. And take your time with it, because I think perspectives like yours are ones that have the more detail that we have, and the better, really. I think so. If that's all right with you,
sure.
I mean, if you're happy to do that,
absolutely, yeah, sure. I mean, I'll start off just with some kind of basic stuff, kind of in the past, but basically, I'm a father of eight kids, and I mostly raised them in Texas. And as I was raising my family, I became much more conservative and much more, you would say, right wing. I got heavily involved in firearms. I actually became a tactical pistol instructor because I believe this whole thing of like society it's gonna fucking fall, man, at some point, right? And like I wanted to protect my family and make sure that my family was safe. And I didn't trust myself to know how to do that on my own. And so I just started taking classes and like whenever I want to learn something, I really get into it, but I wanted to make sure. So I got really into the shooting community and everything else. And this is one of the reasons why you saw my videos on Charlie Kirk. It was just like, dude, I can tell you some of the shit that did and didn't happen.
Yeah,
Let me tell you, because I've seen it firsthand.
We'll definitely get to Charlie Kirk. We'll definitely get to that. But yeah, continue on to stay in the foundation. Yeah, we'll get to that.
So basically, like I was about 50 years old when I was finally done raising my children, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do at that point because I'd been so busy for so many years. I was like, what do you like to do, Quinn? Who are you? Like, what's going on? Right? And I kind of had a cathartic experience. In fact, my original given name is not Quinn; it's John. And I took the name Quinn. I was sitting on this beach in Florida, and I was doing everything I wanted to, man. I watched sunrise. I fished. I took my kayak out. I took walks and picked up shells. I mean, I had the most glorious day ever, man. Like, I did everything I wanted to do. And I picked up my phone and I looked at it, and it was like 11:30 in the morning. And I go, what am I going to do for the rest of the day? I'd never had this much free time in my life, man. Right. And it sounds great. I was on one of the most beautiful beaches in the world, Anna Maria Island, Florida. But it was like, wow, like I didn't have a purpose, right? And so I remembered this song from when I was a kid, and I was like asking myself, like, who do you want to be, Quinn? You got another 25 years of life, right? I remember this song from when I was a kid. I mean, I would say I was like 19, 20. And I followed the Grateful Dead around a lot. I love them. And my favorite song was this song called Quinn the Eskimo or The Mighty Quinn. And you probably know that song. The chorus is like, come on without, come on within.
Yep.
You've not seen nothing like the mighty Quinn, right? And so, but the lyrics are like so cool. It's like these townspeople who are like working in this drudgery, and they're like building big ships and boats, right? They're building monuments, jotting down notes, right? And they're all kind of like, life is so like humdrum. And they're like, but when Quinn the Eskimo gets here, everybody's gonna jump for joy, right? And then they sing that song, Come On Without. And I was like, that is the dude that I want to be for the next 25 years. I want to be a guy that makes people so damn happy that they're singing before I even get to town. And so I just set off and I started traveling the world, and I started documenting it on TikTok, and somehow I became an influencer. Years ago, and I started working for Palestine. So that's my story in a nutshell.
Well, listen. I think that's a pretty great story, right? I mean, you raised your kids, went on a journey of self-discovery. Okay, rebranded yourself. It's very ironic because I've got a couple of things that I have other names for, gamer tags, all this kind of thing. And the name I chose for myself is also Quinn, right? Spelled the exact same way as you spell it, which is wild, right? Right, wild. And let's fast forward now. Let's fast forward to you're on your awesome journey of self-discovery, and then you sort of stumble across the truth seekers, the whistleblower, the disclosure path. I mean, obviously, that must have been a joyful ton of bricks that slammed into your life, and you're like, oh, can I not just enjoy my? Because I imagine because I suffer from this thing where I imagine ignorance. I get jealous of some people who are so ignorant that they just enjoy their life, right? They just enjoy their life.
I was literally just saying this to my friend the other day. Yes. Oh my god.
Like they're concerned with like holidays, right? And like, normal people stuff. And I'm like, listen, how can you focus on that when this is happening?
Yeah.
They're like, they're just skipping through it. And sometimes I'm just like, just for a weekend, can I just rent some ignorance?
Yeah, I'd like to be one of those people.
A weekend. Yes. Right? I'll get back to work on Monday, but just for a weekend, bro. So I imagine it was a joyful,
man. No, I am 100% with you on that, man. Yeah,
right.
I'm 100% with you on that. So, and it's funny because so when I came here to Egypt, this is how I came here to Egypt. Actually, I was actually back in America for the first time in a long time. I was doing a 7-week stint in out near Boston, Massachusetts for a travel app, right? And basically that's when October 7th happened. And so I just started learning about it and questioning it. And like, I felt like something was off, man. And I was like, what's really happening, you know? And I was a supporter of Israel at this point. I grew up in the Northeast of America, man. Like I was always a supporter of Israel. Okay. But something was off. And I was like, what's happening, man? And so I started questioning, I started learning, and basically I learned about the Nakba, right? I learned about the apartheid conditions and what was going on and the difference between the West Bank and Gaza. I didn't know these things. I mean, I was so ignorant, right? And a lot of Muslims started to come in and follow me, and they started teaching me things, right? And so then basically I made this comment one day, and I said, I just want to go hug those children. And this dumbass redneck from like, you know, somewhere in the US or whatever was like, they'll fucking cut your head off, you libtard, right? And so I remember this was like kind of late at night, and I took his comment and I did a reply by video on TikTok. And I just said, you know, to all my new Muslim friends, like, this is what some of these Americans think. Like, is this true? And then I went to bed, bro. I woke up and there's 15,000 comments on the post. I'll pick you up from the airport. I have an apartment for you to stay in for a month. I'll come with you and translate for you. Please come to my restaurant. The food's on me. Please come and stay at my house, Quinn. Please come and stay in our country next, Quinn. I mean, 15,000 comments. I'm getting messages and DMs. I'm getting emails. Holy crud, dude. And I was like, there's no reason for me not to go at this point. And my intention was to fly to Cairo and get into Gaza, right? Of course, that was everybody's intention at this time, right? So I went, man. Somebody bought my ticket. They've asked to remain anonymous, but my good friend Sarah now, as one of my besties, she volunteered an apartment for me. I lived in her apartment for the first month. Like, actually lived for like 2 months. It was amazing. So, in other words, it became this community, you know. And I had this family, local family from Egypt, a wonderful, wonderful family who had emailed me with pictures of their family and everything. So we want to invite you for a nice Arab meal. And I mean, dude, I was getting so many messages that I just had to rando. This one, okay, I'm going to click this one, right? And I happen to open this one. And I said, this is my family. Because everywhere I travel to, a family adopts me. I said, this is my new family. And so we started talking. Oh my gosh, just the most beautiful people in the world. And they said, okay, so I think I got there on like a Monday or something. And they said, okay, we're going to have this dinner on Friday. But meanwhile, a lot of my followers now, had gone viral. And yeah.
Yeah, let me ask, when it comes to the hospitality, right? Because I've had a lot of Muslim friends and their hospitality has been pretty extreme. And I do believe that there's Sunnis and there's Shia Muslims, right? There's Sunni and Shia. Those are the two most prominent, Muslim faiths, if you will. Did you find that it was split down the middle between the two, or was it predominantly Shia, or was it Sunni?
No. So I was in Egypt, which is almost all Sunni. There is a Shia population there, but the Shia population is much smaller. Most of it's relegated to certain countries, and honestly, they've been pretty heavily persecuted because they've been the ones that haven't been in power, and it's been a long battle between Sunni and Shia, and still today there's animosity. So I mean that's a whole podcast in itself, the history of that. And I actually have learned this history here, and it's been amazing because I didn't know it. You know, I really didn't know very much about Muslims at all, to be perfectly honest with you. I really didn't. You know, so it's been a blessed experience, to be perfectly honest with you, and it's helped me shed this whole idea of like all the crap that we're taught in America, in the UK. So much propaganda, so much that's just not true, and it's just we're so scared. And then there's examples where there is problems, and those are magnified, and and the other thing is that not all Muslims are the same. I've been struck by the diversity that I found. Now I think I've been to 3 Muslim countries: Egypt, Qatar, and Bahrain. I've been struck by the diversity. So I just didn't know this before,
Yeah. I think where a lot
It's a
of
lot
the
like Christians, you know. Some are like crazy right wing, some are like really liberal left wing, some are in the middle. It's just the same thing, really. You know.
yeah. So for me, I think a lot of where people get the sort of bad press and some of the more extreme sides of the Muslim faith is because of the extremism, right? And we could quite easily talk about Muslim extremism in the same ways we could talk about Christians and their priests and little boys. There's horrible things we can tie into.
There's extremism on both sides for sure.
But I have read large sections. I mean, it's selectively read sections of the Quran, right? And it does not sound like a religion that any Muslim that I've met in my life has any. They don't really have that oppressive assimilation Borg mindset. The Muslims that I've known, so they're out there, and those seem to be what is going on in the UK. Let me just tell you what's happened in the last 7 days in the UK, Quinn. Right? We had a terrorist attack on a mosque. On oh God, what the hell? The Jewish temples.
On a synagogue.
Synagogue. Thank you very much. Do you know? Every time I open my mouth about Judaism, I have about 6 or 7 facts that I know about Judaism, and that is where I drop off. For some reason, I don't know if I've just not been taught anything, right? But my brain is so limited. I couldn't even tell you what their higher power is called. You know, I really couldn't. Like, it's crazy. So we had the terrorist attack on the synagogue. Then we've had 3
Wouldn't
schools.
it be cool if we all just learned a lot more about each other instead of killing each other?
Yep. I'm definitely pro all of that. Okay, that is my whole narrative. So we've had 3 schools be stormed by my masked men. One allegedly with a firearm, one that went into a school with a knife and stabbed a couple of people. We've had various, I mean, an escalating amount of undocumented individuals doing sexual horrors upon the public, and it really is not doing anything positive for the Muslim faith, for the poor people that have lived here for multiple generations, that are getting dragged into something that they don't want to be part of. And like I say, I'm watching our government, our treasonous government, Quinn, do all of this for some twisted scheme going on in the background. You know, I mean, mass importing people to then say, oh, we need digital IDs to make everyone safer is just the maddest thing ever. You know,
digital ID thing or something. Yeah, I saw that.
It's crazy. And we've got carbon.
That's going to make people nuts.
We've got carbon footprint passports that are being discussed, and new ways that they want to give your children an entire digital identity from birth that will then later decide where they can be educated. And this is getting dystopian-tastic now. So anyway, as I ramble on. So,
I mean, things like that are happening all over the world right now. That's the thing. Like you're experiencing what you're experiencing in the UK. There are other people that are experiencing something totally different in the UK, right? And everybody's inflamed. And the same thing in America. Like in America, like everybody is inflamed, man. On one side or the other, everybody is inflamed. Like,
yeah,
I feel
Quinn,
like the world is a powder keg right now, man. It's a powder keg.
It is a powder keg, but there's rules to this. Okay, you want to pull one over on the UK government. The government wants to do something to the UK people. There's rules. You have to invade a country to distract us, start a war for no reason, get us all arguing about that.
Exactly.
Then you usher through the ID cards and stuff like that. They've done it for decades. I mean, I remember
the exact thing that Trump is doing right now. I mean, he's throwing the military in. He's pretending that there's like issues in cities. I mean, they're shooting like freaking people in fucking chicken costumes and priests praying. You know, just because they want to escalate everything.
Dude, listen, right? We've probably got some different political views. We've probably got some different political views, right? But I've seen,
I don't know, maybe
like content creators who are in Portland, okay, and it looks bonkers. It looks bonkers, okay. And I'm just saying, man. There is
what looks bonkers. Portland does.
Is it Portland? I think it's because there's a huge ICE protest against ICE
Yeah,
or something.
there's a big protest in Portland, and the
Portland.
funny thing that's happening is like that like Trump and the ICE people and their people, they've been using like a bunch of like fake things and saying it's like war ravaged. And what the Portland people are doing, they're like a bunch of hippies, dude. They're not fighting back. They're making fun of them, and they're going out and making videos of the actual street, but they're wearing like funny costumes and stuff, like chicken costumes and shit like that. They're just like such a bunch of weirdos. They're so funny.
I seen the anti-fascist frog, right? He got pepper sprayed.
Yeah, that's right, the frog. And did you hear what he said after they sprayed it into his air vent? He was like, I got Mexican heritage, man. That wasn't even spicy.
Right? Nice. Because I mean, like I say, right?
These people have the funniest attitude. Oh my gosh, it's. So
I mean, you at least you're staying positive. I mean, that's the way you'd have to be.
I'll be honest with you, bro. I don't give a fuck one way or the other. Like I haven't been living in America for 5 years. I don't plan on going back. I would be happy to see America fall. Actually, I think America should fall. It should lose like its control over the entire world, and it should rebuild as an actual like democracy that cares about the people.
Could you imagine? Right? Could you just
like
imagine?
Two wings of the same diseased bird, man.
Just imagine in your brain, Quinn. Right? Let's just imagine all of America loses ties to everything else around the world. Right?
Yeah.
The rights and the lefts meet in a field, okay? And it's a melee battle, no guns allowed. Last side standing gets America. That is never going to end.
The right.
It's never going to end, bro. It's never going to end.
The right kicks the shit out of the left. Like the left doesn't even understand how well armed and how well trained the right is. Like fuck that. I lived in Texas, man. Let me tell you something.
I was going to say,
but let me tell you something else. Yeah. On the converse side, if you ask me who would win a civil war, I would say the left 8 days a week, because a civil war is not about weapons. It's not about training. It's about diplomacy. It's about strategy. It's about like alliances. It's about feeding your soldiers and knowing how to dude, the left wins that battle 8 days a week.
Everyone forgets about the South, bro. Okay. That once the South get weaponized, okay? Like, could you imagine, right? If China decided to just do a land assault, the southern states of America would be like, yes, it's our time to shine, baby.
I'll tell you, man, China doesn't have to do anything to us right now. They're already doing it. They're already doing it, man. They're light years ahead of us. I mean, how many military bases does China have around the world? 0. We have 750. They're spending their money investing around the world, and they're my gosh, they're killing us. Honestly, we got to wake up.
We spend a shocking amount of national defense budget just on internet security, like web-based attacks from China. It's wild, man. It's wild. Well, look, let's delve into some of your stories. Let's delve in to Blowback, the journey that you sort of went on with this. Tell us, take us through it if you can, Quinn.
I mean, yeah. So when I came over here and I realized like, wow, there's a different story than I've been taught. Then I wanted to go deeper and go, well, where did this come from, right? And as I started going back, I learned about the Nakba, right? And then I learned, and I actually learned all the wars in between, the 6-Day War and the Yom Kippur War, like all these things that happened, all these different massacres, the Tantura massacres, stuff. I just never learned about any of this, right? Saying, where did this come from? Why is this happening, right? I learned about the Balfour Declaration. I learned about the difference between Zionism and Judaism, right? I didn't know any of this stuff. But it all came back to one thing, man. It all came back to I believe it was 1956, if I believe right, is when the CIA and your country's MI5, right, went in and they toppled the democratic government of Iran. And it was all because of the oil. They wanted to control the oil supply. And their entire philosophy was, if we don't go in there and do this, then Russia will, right? This is the whole thing. right? And so that's what started this whole thing. And then so for 26 years, they controlled Iran. And they started another program where they started going around trying to control the other Arab countries in the Gulf, right? And there's an amazing, actually, speaker and writer that actually did this for the CIA called Confessions of an Economic Hitman. Oh my gosh. He's even given TED Talks. Like, I can't believe they haven't killed the guy yet. But I heard that. So it kept going back, right? And then I said, wow, the CIA did this. What else did they do? And I just heard some stories. So I started researching this, and I was like, oh my gosh. And one of them in particular stuck out to me, and it was in Chile with the Pinochet, right? And one of the things that the CIA did there was certainly accused of, lots of evidence of, is they would take the bodies, right? They would make people disappear, and they would zip tie them, and they would put them in planes and fly out into the ocean and drop the bodies in. And there were bodies that were floating around, of course, that were found strangely, like this huge conglomeration of bodies found floating around during this, right? Do you know what is happening right now? In Alligator Alley, this concentration camp that Trump built in Florida and then had to close down, there are thousands of missing people that they put in this camp. They're just missing. They're gone. And in the meantime, there are bodies floating that have been found, this strange group of bodies that have been floating into the Mediterranean off the coast of Spain. And they're keeping this quiet, and they're zip tied just like that. Right? Jeez. Crazy stuff, man. So it's not just that the CIA has done some of these things. It's that they're still doing this stuff, and they're doing it with Mossad. They're doing it with MI5. Like, all these Western countries are working together to do this subversive shit, man. Like, where they're taking over governments, toppling things, issuing propaganda, running bot farms, like all this stuff they're doing. I mean, you know, look at the Charlie Kirk killing. We said we're going to talk about that. Should we move on to that? I mean, yeah, that is obviously at this point a hit from one or more of these agencies.
Well, 100%. And I've just pulled up on screen multiple bodies found with hands and feet tied in the Mediterranean Sea off the coast of Spain. Right?
This is what I was telling you
Legit.
about.
This is declassified CIA images from the 1953 Iran coup. Exactly what you were saying there. And it's wild when you start seeing the declassified history, you know, start to play out. And, you know, it's the CIA are guilty of so much on their own people, right? Before we even, because if you're willing to spray your own people with a bunch of toxins, right, during a marathon just to see what happens, technically, that's the equivalent. That's the equivalent of peeing on your own doorstep and hoping no one sees you, right?
I mean, the story of MK Ultra is in the book,
dude,
too.
If you're miles from your own doorstep, think about what you're willing to do. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, let's. In fact, do you know what? You can touch on MK Ultra, and then we can go into Charlie Kirk, because MK Ultra is one of those topics where it doesn't matter who you bring on. It's almost an entirely new version of, you know, what went on, because there's so much of it that ties back to MK Ultra.
There's so much, and there's so much disinformation also. Because that's one of the very popular ones. It's gotten a lot of attention. It's much more well known. And so, of course, listen, one of the biggest things that you see in all of these, when you look at all of these operations together, one of the commonalities that you see is that this always includes a disinformation campaign. And what they're doing is, like, one of the biggest things that they do is they spread their own conspiracy theories, right? And Israel's Mossad does the same thing. They spread crazy conspiracy theories that aren't true, right? And that are wild and outlandish, because think about it, then our minds are way, way over there. And then the fucking crazy ass shit they're doing doesn't seem so bad. And they're moving our Overton window, if you will, right? They're shifting what we think of as normal with the propaganda, with the disinformation. And so then when we find out stuff, we're like, oh, well, it's not as bad as I thought it was. But it's still horrible. That's the point. And you know, and so the more attention that something gets, the more disinformation comes out there. Just like the Charlie Kirk thing. Like, boom, it's like there's so much information that's coming out there, but there's also so much disinformation that's coming out there, because that's how they muddy the waters, and that's how they create the fear and that, like, they want people to think that they go out and assassinate people. They just don't want people to be able to prove it, because they want people to be afraid of them. I mean, that's what Mossad is all about. They've have a lot of their operations. They've specifically done things to spark fear in people. They don't just kill people. They do it just like the beeper incident in Lebanon.
I was just going to say, Quinn, right?
Oh my
if
God!
It wasn't for that beeper incident, right? So much of this you could be like, come on, that's too far-fetched.
Yeah.
Since that beeper incident, bro.
15 years. They put that together over 15 years.
Right.
Built companies just to do this, and just got, oh my gosh, that is sadistic. I don't care who you are, that is sadistic.
If that was in a movie, you'd be like, nah, no way, that's too far-fetched. Too far-fetched.
Right. Yeah, bonkers. And that's the whole thing with the Charlie Kirk thing. It's like that's how people figured it out. They figured it out because the microphone in his shirt and the kinetic energy that ballooned it up came right from the microphone, and they go, well, geez, who would have the technology to do that?
Right.
Make a microphone?
Well, let me hit you with this, Quinn, right? In 2025, let's just go with the narrative that the Charlie Kirk assassination was a political job that took place, an actual country organized this, right? In 2025, you are going to think to yourself, how many people are going to be filming this? Thousands. How much crap can we make happen that we know will be filmed that is another distraction? So, for example, have two guys behind him just start sign language in a way. Have that muzzle flash that went off in the floor above. Have a couple of people running about on rooftops. Man. Because at this point, right, I'm like, this is too much. There's too much going on.
And even that book that was published like the day before on Amazon.
Right.
Like, obviously, it's a distraction, man. Right. Like,
but then, Quinn,
the two planes that took off and turned off their transponders.
Yeah. Look, that's okay. But when you start looking at like a music video Charlie Kirk's wife was in like 15 years ago with the words 910, right, on the screen, and then the movie Snake Eyes
starts to get crazy, man.
Yeah.
And honestly, even the whole Romania thing, like, I mean, a lot of that's been disproved too. Like, there's definitely a lot of like conspiratorial stuff but you know, that's what the CIA wants. That's what Israel wants. They want people to be wild and crazy conspiracies, because then everybody goes, oh, it's just a conspiracy theory, and then they believe whatever bullshit the fucking FBI tells them.
Yeah, but the beauty with conspiracy is by its own existence, it causes argument and division, right? Because not everyone's going to agree, especially when there's 10 theories to choose from, you know?
Right.
But some of the stuff that is coming out now about Charlie's last conversations with some of his biggest donors, and some of, I mean, that's starting to, that
and the
is
fact
really...
that he came out, that Candace released those texts that said 48 hours before his death, he was going to disavow Israel.
Candace Owen wants to stay inside. Okay. She wants to be making all her own meals and get some thick curtains, because she is skipping way too close to the edge. She is like skipping close to the edge, bro. And I tell you something, it'll be something stupid like Candace Owens found unalived after falling in shower. That's all that will happen. Because I'm telling you, it's coming. Okay, it's coming.
She's smart though, man. She released a video, I think today or yesterday, about the dead man switch, and she said flat out, like, I know you're gonna go, you might come and try to kill me. She's like, just so you know, I got my dead man switch, man. She's like sent the files to different people, this and that. So she knows what she's up against, and she's still going it. So I don't, I wasn't ever a huge Candace Owens fan, but I'm really liking what she's doing right now, to be honest with you. And I like that just someone's asking questions, man. We should all be asking questions. I don't care what side you're on. We should all be asking questions and searching for the truth. And what she's doing is causing people to ask questions. And I think that's great. So I'm always in support of asking questions.
100%. 100%. Right. Well, listen, take us through your theories. Let's delve into your side of the Charlie Kirk assassination, because everyone's got a point of view on this, and it'd be great to delve into yours a little deeper there.
Yeah, I mean, I could walk you through all the stuff. You've probably already seen it and heard it and whatever. There's so much of it out there. This is what I will tell you where I've settled as of right now.
Okay.
I am a firm believer in the philosophy of Occam's razor, okay, which is a philosophy and kind of really good for making decisions, right? And basically the philosophy is this: like, when you're faced with a number of different choices, pick the one that has the fewest assumptions, and you're probably going to pick the right one. And I found that to be a very valuable tool, not to just use in a blanket way and say, this is it, right? But to lead you in the right direction, right? And so I've kind of applied that to all of the different theories that I've seen out there, all the different evidence, this and that. The first one that was just blatantly obvious to me, as somebody who's trained in firearms and who has fired the firearm in question at like a deer, for example, right?
Sure.
I knew immediately there's no possible way this was a 30-06. And I think you saw the video I made where we had gel ballistics on this. I mean, every hunter knows this, man. And this bones of steel story, complete fabrication and bullshit. And obviously this guy, Andrew Colvett, and the surgeon, this newly hired surgeon, whatever, they're obviously either in on it or they're being buffaloed, because there's no possible way that this bullet would just be stopped by bones of steel. Complete and utter bullshit.
What do you mean bones of steel?
Once we know that.
What do you mean bones of steel? Hang on a second. So there's somebody out there that's saying his bones were so strong.
Yes. Andrew Colvert, who is the allegedly one of Charlie's best friends and the co-host of the show. He's the one who spoke up. And let me just tell you this: like when somebody is assassinated like this, the crime scene is immediately secure. Okay, this crime scene was not secure. Within minutes, there's somebody pulling the chair that Charlie was sitting on, fucking standing on it, pulling the SD cards out of the camera. Who did we find out that was? It was a TP USA employee, right? Who answers to Andrew Colvert. So then Andrew Colvert came out and basically admitted that, said, yeah, it was him. But they were given directly to the FBI. He was just securing them. Why was law enforcement not there securing stuff instead of some guy ruining the chain of evidence immediately, right? And now all of the evidence has been removed. The whole scene where this happened has been ripped up, repaved over. There was never any blood found. There was no. I mean, this thing is so suspicious on so many levels.
There was never any blood found.
I started asking myself.
Wait. There was never. I'm sorry. The trauma that I had from seeing that video had a lot to do with the amount of blood, right? I'm telling you now.
There's
I have. Do you know how aware
now of like his security team, which was a new security team, which was Israeli allegedly, right? They're carrying him out to an SUV, not an ambulance, because why would you have an ambulance there when there's thousands of people there? Of course you're going to have an ambulance there. But no, there's no ambulance. They put him into a black SUV and they speed off. Allegedly, he goes to the hospital. The surgeon pronounces him dead. At the very time, the people who pronounce him dead, it's not the DA, it's not the sheriff, it's not the FBI in a press conference with the chief surgeon and the hospital administrator. No, it's President Trump at 3:02. And it's also Bibi Netanyahu at 3:02, who both make this announcement. And that's how we. Who is in that room? Who is in that room that is talking to Trump and Netanyahu? Wow, that's a question right there. The autopsy or lack thereof is a question, right? There's like this whole thing is fishy, man. And when you start to realize we're not being told the truth. Now you have to start to apply the philosophy I was telling you about like, right? Like Occam's razor, because there's so much information out there. And when you apply this, right, you find that the most likely scenario, and now with the microphone exploding, dude, it's obviously Israel. There's absolutely, like, this is like, Israel can do all of this. They can make the microphone explode. They can make fake things around it. They can. They were in a relationship with Charlie Kirk. He was about to expose them, right? Like,
Right.
they can easily fix the transponders on the planes. They can put up this book on Amazon as a distraction. They can literally, like, Israel could do that in their sleep. But here's the question: the cover-up includes this Culver guy and the surgeon at a minimum, because they are lying about the 30-06 round. It definitely includes Kash Patel, because he's bullshitting with these texts and the fake pictures and everything else like this, right?
We'll save Kash
How
Patel
far up
for
does
the end
this
of this.
go in America? That's the question. Does it include Trump? Does it include TPUSA USA employees or donors? Right? Like, there's something. Does it include the wife? I mean, people are asking that. I think it's a legitimate question, man. You know, I don't know how far this goes, but we need to keep asking questions.
But the more you look,
to the bottom of it.
The more you start scratching at this, Quinn, the more wide open it seems to get. You never seem to find anything, but it's
and that's
it's
the way they want it, right?
Not in like a fun Reddit rabbit hole way, like in a really like in a
well, I mean, think of the JFK assassination, man. We still don't have all the information on that. How long has that been? So yeah, I mean,
the plot twist is it's going to be that Mushka woman with the jacket and the umbrella, right? That's going to be the biggest plot twist ever. But listen, I'm not being funny. I seen a bit of footage where Donald Trump did he not use a satellite weapon to blow up a cartel narcotics boat, right?
Yeah.
Why is
not
no
one, multiple boats now?
I'm sorry. Since when are we just casually using Star Wars technology on the news, right? Because I'm sorry, did I miss something?
And like, allegedly, these were just like fishermen.
Probably. Listen, look at how many.
Yeah, he wants to start a war with Venezuela, man.
Listen. Do you have any idea how many times
this guy will do anything to not have the Epstein files released? That's what it is.
You know what? We're gonna get to the Epstein files, okay? Because I said we're gonna get to the Epstein files, right? But let's just look at 2025 for a second. Okay.
All right.
Because we had Virginia Giuffre, the poster child for the biggest human transportation PDF file royal scandal ever, just suddenly unalive herself.
Right.
Okay. Right. Then we had Charlie Kirk. Then we've had this radical import of illegal individuals, and not in like a it's a whole bunch of refugees and it's families. It's just young dudes. Okay. Especially, at least in a lot of places. And now we just seem to be having things like these ID cards, having this carbon passport in the UK. All of it seems to just be happening now in a way where they just don't care how blatantly treasonous they're being. And I feel like the same thing. What do you think is going to be used? Right? What do you think is the Charlie Kirk assassination with regards to America? What do you feel like it's going to usher in an era of? Because every time something happens in the UK, whether it's terror, whether it's mainly terror, I'm not going to lie, it's always something horrible. I often think to myself, what is this being orchestrated to bring in? You know, we had 3 little girls who lost their life, and a few others who were injured, and a couple of the adults were injured in a terrible knife attack that ushered in the Internet Safeties Act, which was ushered in to protect children in this country, Quinn. And currently there's 12,000 UK citizens in prison for social media. That's what that ushered in.
It's ridiculous, yeah. Nobody should be in prison for social media posts.
What do you see being ushered in?
I mean, I think honestly, what's going to happen. I don't know a lot about the UK. Okay, but as far as America, what I see happening, and quite possibly this is because Trump has been in power, and that's aside. But the right wing is doing most of the violence that's there. I think they said 75% is the latest stat. And they're being empowered by Trump. And I think what's going to happen there, finally the liberals are going to realize that like making memes and signing petitions isn't going to do very much. Yeah. And I think we're starting to see some strike back. But honestly, I think you're going to see in America, just like we saw in the USSR, man. We saw the fall of the USSR. I think that's what's going to happen. These people can't keep living together, man. They're so divided. So many of them wish violence on each other. The economy is so freaking mismatched and so bad. Like, it's just blue against red, man. It's like red against left, and I don't see it being healed. I really don't. I think that time has passed, and I think every empire falls to some degree, and I think it's America's turn, man. I didn't vote last election. I thought both choices were freaking horrible, but kind of in my heart of hearts, I kind of hoped that Trump got elected, because I thought he would hasten the fall of America. Because Trump is just the exemplification of what America really is. Like, the rest of the presidents, they were just as bad.
Listen, do you know Trump is way smarter than people give him credit for, right? I found out the other day, Quinn, that the reason that he bought the golf course, right, in the UK was every single member there had to put down £250,000 as a retainer, okay? And when he bought the golf course, it was like £100 and something million that he just claimed as soon as he bought the golf course. And he's like, do you know what? I'm just going to take all that.
I know,
and
the guy makes so much money, man. It's
crazy. So I think
but he's such a crook, though. But what I love about that, really, what I love about it is that he actually is showing what America is really like. Because listen, you know who was the drone president? Obama was the drone president. Obama did some horrible shit, but he stood up and he gave a nice little speeches and smiled, and he was so charming and this and that. He did horrible shit behind the scenes. I mean, George Bush seemed like a nice, friendly, go-lucky guy. He murdered a million innocent Iraqis. Like, you know what I mean? Like, these other presidents did horrible shit too. They just did it with a smile on their face and pretended like they were like really wholesome people. Trump is like, fuck that, let's kill them all. You know,
see, when we talk about
that's good. I think
when people talk about Trump's deportation, they forget just how much deportation the Obama administration done. They were
absolutely
of deportation, and I do believe there was Trump. For me, when you were talking about America falling and you feel like we're getting near the end of America's reign, I think America would burn every other part of the world before they would allow that to happen, right? I really, really do, because
we have been burning every other part of the world.
Well, that's true.
For decades.
Do you not think,
like, finally America is starting to realize what's happening in other countries because of our money and our military and our CIA.
Yeah.
You know, I feel bad for Americans that are being assaulted by ICE right now. I feel bad for, like, I think this is horrible. But now Americans are finally learning what we've been doing all over the world for decades. And I think this is going to be a painful time for America. But I think if we're going to survive as a country, we need to become educated as to all the shit we've been doing to other people, right?
I mean, like, I get what you're saying, but that to me doesn't really have anything to do with the American people or America it's got a lot to do with the politics and the people that are in power. But I think if everything was done off of an iPad, right, and it was like, should we invade this country? And everyone in the country has to push on their iPad, yes or no. I think a lot of history would be different. I really think they would. I mean, look at we had a prime minister.
No, I mean, I
Tony
think
Blair.
what it is, it's about accountability, man. It's about accountability, I think, and the American people, and I think probably the UK people too. Like, it's about us like rising up and realizing that they are purposely dividing us, and purposely making us tired and broke, so that we don't have the energy to think about all the evil shit they're doing. And I'm talking about the in America, the Democrats and the Republicans. They are both fucking corrupt.
I'm with you.
Like, why don't we have a term limits bill yet? And 70-some percent of Americans agree on a number of different issues. You know what I want for America for a president? I want a president that comes in and says, you know what? We're not a great country, but why don't we just try to get a passing grade? We're going to go for this. We're going to call ourselves the 70% administration. We're going to ask Americans like what you agree on a number of different topics. And we're going to take all the big issues that you don't agree on, and we're going to just put them aside for 4 years. And we're going to solve all the problems that 70% of you agree on. Oh my gosh, it would change the entire country.
You wouldn't get 70% to agree on anything, bro.
Like, we agree on most stuff, you know?
I mean,
but they just divide us.
Yeah, I think it's either we need to tear it all down, or we all just need to accept what is happening, because there's no half measures on this, right? There's no half measures. But I'll be honest with you.
Pretty much there with you.
I'll be honest with you. I, in no way, shape, or form, believe anyone should be held accountable as a citizen for anything that their governing bodies, the mad individuals that run countries, seem to think are good ideas. I just can't get behind it. So for me, the whole taking accountability.
Well, I mean, being held.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one for me. I'll be honest. I think we should learn from the mistakes of previous governments, but we can assume that our governments are always going to be absolute a-holes, because they're just little puppets having their strings pulled by the cabal and the bloodlines and all of this. And that's the sad reality, right? Until everyone's caught up with that mindset, we're just going to continue to blame the puppets. It's the people that pull the strings that we need to start looking at. Look at the Diddy case. What's going on? Where are the Epstein files? Where are the goddamn tapes, Quinn? Where are the goddamn tapes? There was buckets, there was like baskets of tapes, hard drives, all of this stuff, and the world apparently runs on blackmail from a certain country. And all I'm saying is, it seems to me that there's a certain country that keeps popping up in 2025 in every single damn conspiracy. I'm just saying it. I'm just saying
every single one.
It's
every
fishy.
Single one, man.
It's fishy. Yep. Okay.
It's quite fishy.
I just want to say to everybody at this point,
I think it's more than fishy. I think the world should realize it's not just a conspiracy theory about Israel. It's not just fishy. These are the evil people. It's time to dissolve Israel.
It's not so much Israel,
right? Peace to the world.
I think it's the governing body. I think it's the current management that I've got more of a problem with than anything when it comes to.
But the thing is, dude, man, you have to understand this: 85% of the people, the Jewish people living in Israel, agree with the main tenets of Netanyahu. Now, they might not agree with some specific things. Maybe they have another political party, but they agree. Like, that's the thing. Now, if you look at American Jews, it's completely different. American Jews, particularly the young people, are completely turning against what the government is doing in Israel. Listen, man, they should have a one-state solution. This two-state solution is bullshit. People can live together, and they have lived together for fucking centuries, man. Zionism came in and tried to friggin' do this. The Jews lived together with everybody. They lived together with the Arabs. They lived, like, everybody lived together, man. And it was peaceful until this Zionist project.
It's really interesting when you delve into, like you say, the subcategories of people's faith, because there's definitely some extreme forms of everything once you start peeling that label away. And for me, I'm going to be honest with you, for the first time ever, we've got too much going on in this country, right, for me to even have a say right now in anything. To be honest, I'm this close.
And
I'm
that's
this
what
close.
they want, bro.
Yeah,
That's
listen,
what
I'm
they
this
want.
close.
You were just talking about the puppet masters. That's what they want. They want us all busy in our own backyard so we don't pay attention to the shit that's happening everywhere else that they're doing.
Sadly, they nailed it, Quinn. They've nailed it with French tourists who are predatory towards women and kids. They nailed it. That is the distraction of all distractions, bro.
Yeah.
Okay. Trust me, I've got 7 children. Okay. And I ain't the one to be standing around for that. So yeah, they got me. I'm distracted, 100%.
Because, of course.
But I'll tell you this, Quinn.
I'm this going on all over, man. It's going on in so many different countries right now.
I'm this close.
It's got to be coordinated. It's got to be
flying.
coordinated.
Like I want to fly out there. I mean, I really feel like the only way is to fly out there and look for myself, right? Like I really feel like that's the only way, because other than active war zone and being speaking to the wrong. I'm going to speak to the wrong person, guaranteed, right, for a start. But I'm that close because it just seems like I need to see for myself. There's so much nonsense.
Dude, I think what you're saying right there is the key to everything. I need to see for myself.
Yeah,
like we all need to start traveling more. We all need to start sitting down with people who are different than us and just having a freaking conversation and with an open mind and learning, because we've all been lied to. All of us. We're all like, I don't care what religion you are. I don't care what culture you are. The freaking puppet masters are lying to all of us. Every one of us. And when we start sitting down, dude, the biggest thing, if you ask me like how I've learned the most, it's not from books, it's not from study, it's not from anything like that. It's from sitting down with people and living with them. Like I've been traveling and living with people in their cultures, in their communities, and it's eye-opening. And I'm like, holy shit, if I've been lied to about this, what else am I being lied to? And that's the foundation for getting your eyes opened.
No, I agree.
Once you do that, you go, what else am I being lied to? And then all of a sudden, man, it's like a freaking deck of cards. You're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, you just gotta watch the moon landing footage back all these years later and be like, I've got some questions. I got some questions.
I got questions about everything, and what I try to do is I try to not make blanket conclusions. I just try to ask questions, man. Coming up with, all the details of what actually happened and stuff that's above my pay grade. But I think we should all be asking questions about everything. And particularly if we're involved in an organization or a group or whatever, like MAGA. If I was MAGA, dude, I'd be asking questions, right? If I'm a Christian, I'm gonna be asking questions. If I'm a Muslim, I'm gonna be asking questions, because you're in an organization that is powerful and is easily corruptible. So you should fucking be asking questions, man. We all got to clean our own house first. Don't be pointing fingers at other people until you clean your own house. You know what I'm saying? And people don't do that enough. And then we get into this cult-like behavior where we're always protecting our own. Instead of the Democrats and the Republicans attacking each other, why don't they just attack themselves? They both suck. Let's let the Democrats attack the Democrats, the Republicans attack the Republicans, just for a year or two. That fucking clean house right there. Then they could get together and actually make some damn decisions, right? But it's all they do is the Democrats don't even ever have a candidate. Their only candidate is, I'm not Trump.
So here's the thing, right? It's
and the Republicans did the same thing when Obama was popular. They ran candidates. Their only fucking promise was, I'm not Obama. Come on, man. That is crazy shit that's going on. I'm sure the UK is the same kind of clown show.
Well, the UK is amped up its clown show, Quinn. Just before we go any further, can I get everybody to like and share? Quinn's links are down in the description. If you guys can make sure you can push this live, I would appreciate it. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. My links for my channel are down in the description as well over on ProjectROOQ, and we'll be live at 9 o'clock on whatever channel you are watching on this right now with our next show. Now, moving forward, right? I think that the mindset of people need to travel, need to sit down with people is a great mindset. But the realities in the UK, and I think in America, is this total deconstruction of community, right? So in everyday society, we are now being programmed to keep ourselves to ourselves. So the concept for a lot of people of just intermingling with other cultures is dissolving. I think start breaking down community, that's when the sovereign citizens, for lack of a better word, their cultures start being eradicated because it becomes less about us and more about me. And that's something that we need to overturn, is knowing our neighbors, caring about our neighbors, understanding who we live around. And it's such a simple thing to do that can have such a massive effect on the country you're in, the area you're in, and it's so crucial. It does, because so your point of traveling, I think we need to take a step back from that and just start with our own communities and cultures and practice until your kids grow up and you can jet set like Quinn did. You know what I'm saying? Because it's going to take a while for the mindset of normalizing community again to be something that is every day, I think, and it's sad. It really, really is, and it's weaponized. It's been completely done to isolate us all.
Well, that's the real problem right there. And even when we start to realize that, we are still programmed to use a lot of the explosive language. Like, for example, you said something that's very common. A thought. It's eradicating our culture. Okay, so if we look at the history of the world, that what we see is that cultures change and they grow and they intermingle, and so on and so forth. And some of them eventually just, the original one is just gone, right? But like, look at America, for example. Like, I grew up in the Northeast, dude. All my friends were like, they were like, half Italian, half Polish, half Italian, half like their family lineage, right? But what they really were was they were American, man. They were, that's what they were. They were American, and it was such a melting pot in those days, right? And we tend to think that that was an easy thing. It was not. Holy shit, there was awful bloodshed between these people when they first, the Italians were warring. I mean, the 5 points in New York, man. Oh my gosh, the Italians and the Irish going at it, like slaughtering each other, right? Like, I mean, this was not an easy transition, right? But it ended up good, right? Because people started to intermingle and they became Americans. Now we're faced with a new style of immigration, right? Where we're getting in a lot of different immigrants, right? And this is going to be a difficult process, man. It's going to be a bloody, right? There's going to be issues on that are happening that we're going to have to struggle through. But whether we like it or not, the demographics of the world are changing. And cultures are going to start to intermingle, and we're going to just have to deal with it. That's
okay.
And make it the best that we can. And I think it will be good. Honestly, I think it will be good. Like,
okay.
I don't know, man. We'll see.
Let me just say. So when it comes to cultures are changing and they're intermingling, I'm all for inclusive members of society, right? If you come to my country, I expect you to fit into our culture and to assimilate into our way of life. I don't expect there to be any pushing of any other culture. Now, have you heard about a place called Dearborn?
Of course I have, man. Dearborn is awesome.
Okay.
I used to think it was crazy. I used to think, oh my gosh, they're taking over their Sharia law. Like, I used to believe that shit. But dude, let me tell you, can I tell you a story? Listen, when I lived in Texas, there's this place in Texas, West Texas, right? It's called West Texas. Okay. It's a little town, right? And this area right there, it has one of the highest population of Czechoslovakian people outside of Czechoslovakia, right? And everybody goes down there. They visit this. It's like literally going into a village in Czechoslovakia. Like the language, the food, the music, everything, right? And it's celebrated, right? Now, if you go to Dearborn, Michigan, do you know it's literally the exact same thing? There's like sections of Dearborn where it's the exact same thing. But instead of people celebrating that culture, they're scared by it, right? And then they're afraid and they're like, why is this here? It's taking over, like, blah, 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 right? But dude, the people that actually go there and like meet with the people and go experience their food and they love it, dude. It's the liveliest, like most, but it's like news corporations like Fox News who have scared people about this, but it's no different than the town in called West Texas. It's just that those people are white and they look like them, so they're not afraid of them. You know that, they're trying to divide us with this fear of places like Dearborn, Michigan. I actually have friends now that live in Dearborn, Michigan, and I can't wait to visit it. Actually.
Okay, so when we talk about Dearborn in particular, we are talking about a complete and utter assimilation from one culture to another that includes Sharia law, Muslim call to prayers that are taking place in the morning. I just want to show you a clip. This is a woman standing in front of her Congress in Dearborn, right?
Yeah.
And let's listen to what she has to say. And there's another video I would like to discuss with you, because this to me seems like a reality.
In Dearborn, Michigan, they have calls to prayer at 5:30 a.m. This is what it looks like when you complain about it.
But the mosques in East Dearborn are now waking us up at 5:30 in the morning with the call to prayer. The noise complaints have been made out and the police have made numerous visits. What is the next step?
There was some question whether or not any outdoor loudspeakers are allowed, something that was not clarified, only that more evidence is being gathered. But CBS Detroit did examine Dearborn's noise ordinance and found that loudspeakers between the hours of 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. are in violation of the ordinance.
So there you go. It's illegal, but they just let it.
So we have citizens
so
of
let
Dearborn.
me tell you something, man, about this.
Okay, let me hear what you have to say on it. Then I'd like to make a couple of points.
All right, so let me give you a little bit of a history of America very, very quickly. So when America was founded, right, it was mostly Christians. They were not Catholics. They were Christians, right? They came over, and of course, many Catholics wanted to come too, right? And so the state of Maryland, one of the original colonies, right? This was designated as the state for Catholics, gifted by like Lord Baltimore or something like this, right? So the point is this: there was lots of animosity between the Christians and the Catholics, and as the country started to grow, there continued to be animosity. And one of the things there was animosity about, right, was the Catholic Church's bells, the Angelus bells, they're called, right? They ring at 6, 12, and 6 a.m. in the morning, noon, and 6 p.m., right? And this became a thing. All these Catholic churches are being built. All these immigrants are coming in, these Italian immigrants, these Irish immigrants. They're building Catholic churches. They're all over. Oh my gosh, those damn bells. Oh my gosh, right?
Okay.
And the people had to get used to the assimilation, but both ways, right? And after a while, the bells became beautiful to everybody. Like I grew up and I heard the Angelus bells. I was like, oh, it's the Angelus bells. Like, wow, like, and I wasn't scared of it. It just became something like, oh,
just to be clear, what I think you're saying is people should just accept the assimilation of Dearborn and start changing.
I think struggle with it. I'm not saying just accept anything. I'm saying struggle with it. Struggle with it. We are different people who believe different things, who fervently hold different beliefs, who live different cultures, who make different food. Struggle with this stuff. Struggle with it. And struggle with our own ignorance and learn from each other and fight over some stuff. Like, but with love, right? This is not easy, bro. This is not easy shit.
But it's not coming with love. This is the thing. When we have death to the West, burn America, we have.
And why is it not coming with love? That's the point. This is where they're leading us. They're dividing us because they're making us afraid.
I think we've got two sides to this, the faith in question here. I think there is genuinely arguments to be made that there is a vast majority of these undocumented individuals who seem to be a part of this culture shift, who do not view the modern take on this faith. They look at the Sharia law and the Islamic.
Yeah, but okay, so you've mentioned Sharia law a couple of times, and I used to feel like this too. But I like, in all honesty, like, have you ever read any Sharia law? Like, what do you actually know about it? Because I've been shocked what I've learned about it. It's not what I thought it was, man. And many things, it's like absolutely beautiful. And
Quinn, you and I.
It is not this crazy like, let's go chop people's heads off and honor kill people. The shit that we heard and we were afraid of, man. That is extremism, and it's people who are twisting.
But that is what it says, though. That is what it says, though, right? That is
no,
what
man, it's not. No, it's not. That's what I'm saying.
1 second, Quinn. 1 second.
Like the country that I'm in right now, Egypt, is a Muslim majority country, but there are also like Coptic Christians here, everything else, like lots of things.
All right, Quinn. First of all, okay.
Yeah. I'm
also Polish Irish. My grandfather was Polish. My grandmother was Irish. Okay, just another weird.
Yeah, cool.
I want you and I are the very definition of people who are about to sound like they're arguing, but after the show, we just sit down and just carry on with life, still find each other interesting.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, right? Because I'm going to be honest.
That's a good thing. Like that's.
I'm going to be honest with you.
Like get there.
When, for me, women in this country, there was a movement called the suffragettes in the UK that fought for women's rights for decades, and under Sharia law, all of that is eradicated. And for me, if you're in the UK, I don't give a rat's ass about what courts or laws come with your religion. If you're in the UK, it's UK law that should protect you, should keep you safe. And for every single Muslim woman, their rights go out the window. And I understand that you're part of the culture. You're in a beautiful place like Egypt, surrounded by people that you're gravitating to. I don't think those are the people that are here, bro. I don't think the people.
I don't know who's there. I don't know who's there. But what I will tell you is this. Like, dude, we have been made to fear each other, and we have been made like all UK law, all Western law, all American law is based on actually the Catholic Church's interpretation of law. That's actually where it comes from. It comes from religion. And likewise, at the same time that the Muslim world is developing, all of their law comes from their religion. That's it, man.
Listen.
And both of those have been extreme at times. Both of those have had extreme elements. Twist those things. Twist the religious document. Things like this. Of course, man. Both of them have. They're so much more alike, honestly, than I ever knew, man. And I have experienced many Muslims that are very, very traditional, even what I would say is extreme. I've experienced many that are very, very liberal, and on the other side, even atheists and stuff, like whatever. There's such a diversity, just like in our culture. And so I don't know when you say which ones are there. You know what? I'm assuming it's probably a conglomeration. I don't know.
Okay.
But
so let me hit
know
back.
people. Is what I say.
The concept of Sharia law, and I do apologize that this wasn't the topic of discussion, but here we are.
No, that's all right. We can talk about whatever, man.
For me, I can't get behind anything that says once a child hits puberty, they can get married. Okay. We've had multiple cases. I mean, there's one that's looking at me from 5 days ago. R-worder who married a 15-year-old girl in Sharia law ceremony. It's
Christians do the same thing, man. Like you could go to Arkansas right now and they're marrying 14-year-old girls.
The argument isn't what is Christian.
It's wrong in all cases, is what I'm saying, man. Wrong in all cases.
I agree.
These are people that are. Listen, I'm an atheist, man. If you ever want to talk about religions, like indoctrinating people and how bad that is, I'm on your side. But it's both religions that are doing it, and it's also the Jews who are doing it, right?
But here's the thing: I've not seen a mass importation into any other country where Christians are gathering, burning the flag of the nation that they're in, and saying death to that.
Because the Christians already dominate all of the Western countries. And the reason why these people are coming here is because our tax dollars and our military equipment has destroyed their countries. And so it's actually just like What the UK used to do is destroy countries, right? Like, look why there's so many Irish people in America. Because the UK genocided them during the Great Famine, and they all left and went to America and Australia and all these other places.
In all fairness,
the Christians were the immigrants at one point. They were the immigrants, and people were afraid of them.
I understand. Listen, with trying to keep this on point, I hit the history. A lot of people, when I talk to them about this, they like to try and give me history lessons. Okay.
Yeah.
And history it's a moot point when we're talking about the here and the now. And seeing what I'm seeing going on around the world, right? And now I understand when a lot of your points stem from, Christianity, they did it years ago, or look at how the bells were interpreted, or when America's been, basically the UK have been shelling the crap out of people for decades, we should expect some pushback. I get all of that. It's just none of that had anything to do with me, and there's people being attacked on the streets because my government.
I agree, man. I mean, that's the point. Like, we are all in strife right now, and yeah, we're most concerned about our own local communities. We're like, because we just want to be safe. We just want to live. We just want to work. We just want to be with our families. We just want to go home on the couch and kick our feet up and watch a football match, right? Like, we don't, and they're making that so difficult. It's difficult for us to concentrate on anything else that's outside of that. But you're feeling that way where you are. And I can assure you, like, everybody else is feeling that way wherever they are, whatever color they are, whatever religion they are, whatever country they're living in. Like, everybody is starting to feel that way. Like, the same thing is happening in so many countries right now.
Well, I think the same thing that
can't see what's going on because they're just trying to survive. You
got to understand this whole concept of it's happening everywhere. What I'm seeing is white Christian countries, right, in 2025 having their identity invaded. Okay. And I'm sorry, but that can't be coincidental. All right. Especially when you see individuals coming over. And again, this ties in with exactly what the name of your book is and the center of all this. If we just replace the word Americas with basically planet Earth, right? Okay, just the word planet Earth. And instead of CIA, every single governing body that has central intelligence at their heart around the world. Okay, this is not an America thing. This is an everywhere thing. But it worries me because we as a people, the Christians, okay, the people that are governed by Christian laws and countries. I'm a pagan, right? I believe all the gods exist, if I'm being perfectly honest with you, Quinn. I think they're all different tools that are hard.
Well, we're very close in our thoughts then.
Dude, like, you can't tell me that if there's demonic energies that are Hindu and demonic energies that are Muslim or Judaic or from the Jewish faith, you can't tell me that means that their gods don't exist. So for me, all the gods exist. They're all like different weapons in a toolbox for different types of demonic evil in the world. And sadly, good and bad, this is my theory, Quinn, good and bad have to exist, right? So the wolf,
I agree.
The wolf has to eat the deer. The wolf has to eat the deer. Good for the wolf, bad for the deer. But evil has no place, right? And that's the issue.
I mean, I believe that all of these religions and these spiritual practices and everything, I believe they all have a slice of the pie. The problem is they all think they're the whole pie.
Well,
we just need to get whatever you can get of value out of all of them. They all have beauty in them.
I believe you're 50% right there, because I believe it's the organized religions that spoon feed you there's only one. It's like the Highlander, right? There can be only one, Quinn. Now, give me your money.
Yeah, exactly.
Now give me your money. There can be only one. Give me your money. Pass it to the next person. The power of Christ compels you, whatever. And it's the monetary factor that keeps that narrative going. See everyone that I know is the Jesus crew, right? None of them have any affiliates to any modern religion that has anything to do with Jesus. And it blew my mind. Right? Because I don't understand blind faith. I had a profound religious experience, Quinn, right? That turned a non-believer of 30 odd years into a devout religious man. And I mean, it's the sort of thing, if I was to say to you, what would it take for you to be a devout individual to one God? Whatever the answer is in your head, that's what happened to me. Okay, that's the level of mind blowing.
I was a devout believer for 15 years. I taught in the Catholic Church and was a Catholic musician and teacher.
Damn.
The world teaching it.
Well, here's the thing, because technically, I went to Sunday school. Do you know what I mean? I was baptized or christened, whatever you called it. So from an early age, I was very influenced by Christianity and all of that. But for me, a Scotland that's governed by Christmas and Easter and a set of laws that separates religion from your crimes I'm comfortable with that. A country that's got almost 90 Sharia law courts in it, and now an inclusion of a faith that this country wasn't founded on is the recipe for civil unrest and war. Okay,
so these Sharia Sharia law courts that you're talking about, these 90 things.
Yeah.
So these are courts. I don't, forgive my ignorance. I don't know this about Scotland.
That's okay.
So, are you saying that that these courts supersede the courts of Scotland?
Of the UK, yeah.
So in other words, if what you're saying is that if there's a Muslim in Scotland that gets, like, I don't know, arrested for something or whatever, they go to a Sharia law court instead of the UK court?
In some parts of the UK, yes.
Really?
100%.
I've never heard of this.
This is the problem, right? Because this is what's actually happening here. All right. And we have.
So are these Sharia law courts like letting them off or something? Like, what's the issue here?
We've no idea. The issue that we have here is in the UK, there should be no court that has anything to do with a religion that the laws are based on. You should not be breaking laws in the eyes of any
it shouldn't
god.
Be the religion that already influences the laws, you mean?
Well,
they're all written again based on Christianity. So,
but here's the thing: I believe that the laws that we have and the way that our court would like you to think it's laid out is a lot fairer than having your rights stripped away and being judged by 6 men with no female rights or inclusion on that court. It's bonkers. I don't get it. And we've got individuals who are being arrested in this country for hanging their own flags outside their houses, for speaking out against the government or against these individuals types of religions that are coming here, and they're going to jail for it. On the other hand, we've got illegal French tourists coming here who are R-wording young girls and being given ankle tags. Okay, there's some people that are given longer sentences for their social media posts than.
I'm going to have to go in and learn about what's happening in Scotland because I don't really know anything about what
it's the whole of the UK, bro. It's the whole of the UK. And it sounds like I'm just a crazy person, right? It sounds like this can't be happening because the first time,
to be fair, but yeah, if I were to tell you what's happening in America, I would sound like a crazy person too. So I'm not necessarily skeptical of what you're saying. I just don't know anything about it. I've been very focused here on Palestine and Israel and America. I haven't done a whole, like I was just learning about this whole Ireland thing with the triple lock thing and the impact of this. I didn't know anything about this. I'm just like literally I see an article and I go, what the hell is this? And I'm just slowly learning about it. So same with the UK. I just really don't know much. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
but this is very interesting. I'm going to go look all this stuff up now and learn about it. This is super interesting.
Well, this is we're almost.
I'll make a video on TikTok and I'll be like, thanks, Ron.
Dude, you've got to look into this. It's now you will now go to jail for protesting outside of any of the hotels that are being used. I know all
about the social media posts thing.
No.
This whole like superseding the courts and all this stuff. I want to find out.
100%. So here's the next thing. So you're now going to be arrested if you protest outside any of the illegal migrant accommodations. So we've had peaceful protests.
Dude, that's what's happening with ICE right now in the U.S. Like they were shooting people yesterday. They shot this one priest in the head with oh my gosh, like for nothing. It's all on
I
video.
mean, are we talking about Antifa? Antifa are a registered like terrorist group in America.
Listen, man, here's the thing with Antifa. Like, both sides are bullshitting about Antifa. Like, the left is like, oh, there's no such organization as Antifa, and they're just making it up.
They
Whatever,
literally
blah, blah,
have flags that say Antifa, and they literally have T-shirts that say Antifa.
But let me tell you the truth about Antifa, man. And I would be quick.
Okay,
but,
that's fine.
Here's the truth, man. They're both sides are full of shit. Okay, you have the alt-right. Okay, these crazy people like Nick Fuentes and these Nazis that are marching the Proud Boys, all this bullshit, right? Okay, you also they want to paint the picture that you have this like hard left. There is no hard left. It is a devious left. It is a bunch of rebels. That's what it is. Okay, they're not out there like they don't just go out there and become violent. They become sneaky violent. And I'm not saying anything that they wouldn't tell you themselves. Okay, like the whole idea of Antifa, the first notice of Antifa, like this name Antifa, came about in Portland, Oregon, actually, with this thing called Rose City Antifa. Okay, this is the first one, but previously, this came from this thing called ARA, which I can't remember. This is anti-American racist. I don't know, whatever. It's racism, right? That's what they were fighting against. This is for decades, right? All these groups, but they're loosely associated with each other. There's no like central body. There's no governing command. There's no, charter. There's none of this shit. It's just rebels. Most of these people were like socialists, communists, anarchists. They weren't right or they weren't left. They didn't like either party. What they wanted to do was say, we are sick of this shit. It's descending towards fascism, and at this point, we need to fight.
What is it?
They started fighting. They started hiding their identities, and they okayed violence. They said, if we have to, we're willing to use violence. And this is where it came from. So the left pretending that Antifa is innocent, no. Okay, definitely so they're violent. Okay,
I hear this.
And the right pretending that they're just like these warmongers, also wrong. They're rebels. They're rebels that say this system needs to be broken, and we're willing to break it, and they have. So both sides kind of have points, but personally, I'm on their side, the Antifa side. Let's break it.
That's okay. That's okay. Trust me. I feel like our conversations are how I imagine. In World War II. Like when the Germans and the British had Christmas and then they met in no man's land and had Christmas. This is how the conversations would have went.
Yeah.
It's like
bring each other a bottle.
Also, like it's interesting because I'm the total opposite, right? So if we were at the same rally, right, you'd be on one side of it and I'd be on the other because
I won't be on any side.
No. Someone's put a gun to your head. They've put you on a private jet. They've flown you back to America, and you have to choose. There's no in Ron's game. You have to choose, and trust me, that's okay. We'd be on the opposite sides, and that's all right. Trust me, we can still get along.
Yeah.
Right? When the war kicks off,
I don't really care enough about America to even make that decision. But I would say my views are more on the side of not the Democrats, even further. Even further, man. I think the whole system.
Let me circle you back. Let me circle you back, Quinn, because you used the word fascist, right? So, what is it about modern America and ICE that seems to make this Nazi fascism word come to life? What is it that is that fascism in your eyes?
Well, I think it's really simple. Like, I gotta move, just so forgive me, because I gotta plug my phone in because it's about to die.
See, no, that's all right, mate.
Booty, where's my plug? You know where that is? So I think the thing about fascism is this. People like to say like, oh, is this on the right or is this on the left or whatever, this and that. Like, the point is that there are characteristics of fascism, right? Okay, and we ought to be able to understand what these characteristics are. Like, for example, authoritarian. I found it. These authoritarian things that are happening right now, where Trump is like taking over the media, for example, controlling all of the media, taking over all of the federal departments and purging them of anybody who disagrees with him, going against using these departments to go against his political opponents. Whether you're right or left, Doesn't matter, man. This is authoritarian behavior, right? These are signs of fascism, right? When you're purging the military, for example, when you're using the military against your own citizens, all of that. When you're arresting people without due process, when you're disappearing your enemies, like all of this stuff is fascism. It doesn't matter whether you're right, whether you're left, whether you're a Democrat, whether you're Republican.
Where does that
These
tie
are fascist behaviors.
Where does that tie in with the 2025 Trump?
Because that's exactly what's happening right now.
When you say he's controlling the media, what do you mean by he's controlling the media?
So for example, they've just taken over TikTok. Like now, this is governed by basically the United States government and the Israeli government. Okay, they just took over CBS. For example, literally took over the news station CBS. Right, like they're taking down these stations and they're putting their people in charge of these things, right? So that they can control these, and that's the point. Like there's the free press has honestly been gone for a while, but now it's literally under the control of Donald Trump in America. I mean, he is purging his enemies one by one. Like, and even today, for example, he came out and we're talking about the right. He said we're going to arrest anybody who burns the American flag, right? Which has already been ruled against in 2 different Supreme Court decisions. And one of the reporters called him on that or something. He said, we've taken the freedom of speech away. I mean, so the guy is not even hiding it anymore.
Just if we know that the media has already been corrupt for decades, okay, then it's not really the Trump administration. I would imagine that if I was part of a governing body of any country, I would want my people in as many positions as I could get them into for easy, smooth governing, right? I mean,
sure.
When we talk about fascism, right, I really feel like, I mean, what's the difference? Is it Trump's fired some people and brought his people in? Because the presence of media bias has been there for longer than I've been alive. So do you really feel like that is a point that you can really drag in as making out that this is a Nazi government?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I mean, I'm not going to ever defend the other presidents and the things that they did because they've all done horrible shit. Okay. But the reality is that there was always a balance of power, and there was always like, for example, if they went against the courts or whatever, the court decision went against them, they would obey that, these kind of things. Trump just doesn't care anymore, man. He's taking over everything. He's literally purging his and arresting his political enemies, not because they've committed any crimes, but just to purge them. Like, this is stuff that has never happened before. He's taken it to the absolute next level. Can
you give me an example of someone who's
sure. Like, for example, he just ordered his clown Pam Bondi to arrest James Comey, who is the former director of the FBI, who basically with James Comey and Jack Smith were basically the primary people who were pushing the case against Donald Trump, right? So he's been his enemy forever. And so basically he just decided to have him arrested. There's no evidence against him. The prosecutor then said, there's no evidence to arrest this guy. And so he just fired the prosecutor and then put a new prosecutor in his place, who is this lady named Lindsay, I forget her last name, who has never tried a case in her life. She's a lawyer who's never tried a case. And the way that Donald Trump met her is she's one of the ladies who was in one of his beauty pageants. In fact, the same one that Charlie Kirk's wife, Erica, was in. It's so funny that these ladies from the beauty pageant keep attaining these positions of power somehow, and Donald Trump then uses them however he likes. Pretty strange, huh?
Interesting. It's interesting. But again,
so they're supposed to perp walk. They're supposed to perp walk James Comey in the next couple of days.
Do you not get a feeling though that if somebody was clearing house, they would get this pushback? You know, if we're talking about the former FBI director who was happy to push aside all of the email scandals that took place with what the hell was her name, Hillary Clinton. I'm sure there's a long line of issues that a position of power like Trump would want to be rectified.
Right. There's so much, but like, for example, I don't know if you heard about this, but there is just this judge. I think it was in South Carolina, whose home was mysteriously blown up. She was in it, as was her husband. Her husband jumped from the second story. They were both injured, but they both lived. But her home was blown up, and then this massive fire burnt to the ground. Do you know who this person was, this judge? She was a judge that just ruled against Trump.
I see the rulings of people ruling against Trump. All of this backlash. There has been evidence pouring in of the conspiracies against Trump. YouTube have just had to make a formal apology to hundreds of thousands of account users. I think that because, again, no disrespect, we're on different sides of the picket line, we're looking at the exact same things with different sets of glasses on. Because what you see as fascism, I see as, clearing house, as to getting rid of
yeah, but dude, have you seen the videos of what ICE is doing? These are massive
blowing up houses
with no badges, with no warrants. Like the other day, they shot a United States citizen 5 times. Like, shot her, and then said that she tried to assault them. Now the body cam footage has come out, totally fabricated. She did not. And right before he shot her, he was like, something like, "Take this, bitch." Like, shit is crazy, dude. This is not just like cleaning house. They're not going after the gang members or like horrible illegal people. They're taking gardeners, restaurant workers. They're even grabbing United States citizens. This is like literally an assault, man. It's crazy.
Well, here's the thing: when it comes to citizens getting caught up in anything, it's horrible. But we're talking about. I believe I'm not and again, I can guarantee you're going to have a difference of opinion, and that's okay. But I'm not let's open our borders kind of guy, right? I'm not a let's have an open borders kind of guy. And if you don't have the paperwork, you shouldn't be in this country.
I don't disagree with you, man.
That's just the way I
disagree with you at all. Like I listen, I'm a world traveler, bro. I've lived in like so many countries. I've been to so many countries. You know what I have to do every time I come into one of those countries? I have to have the right documents, and I have to go through a process, right? I'm not against that. Like every country should be able to have its sovereignty. Every country should be able to have like immigration laws. But the point is that in the United States, the immigration laws are so damn broken, bro. They are and they've been broken for decades and decades and decades. And every president has dealt with this, and none of them have successfully done anything, right? And the point is, like, our policies as the United States have ruined Latin America for decades. And we wonder why these people are fucking trying to immigrate to America. They're literally trying to have a better life because we blew their fucking country up. Like, and then we're complaining because they want to come to our country and just live and work. And the point is, like, dude, our country, as is shown from our economy right now, our country can't survive without these people. Like, our farmers are like broke. There's nobody working in restaurants. Like, dude.
Well, yeah, but the farming industry, bro.
I'm not suggesting we shouldn't know who's there. I'm not suggesting we shouldn't like have a good immigration policy and that we shouldn't keep criminals out. Of course we should. Like, who wants gang members and criminals? But the point is, we're the ones that are making this shit happen in these places, and then we're crying because it's coming to us, to our back door. I mean, we can't have it both ways, man.
Again, it's not the politicians who are having their daughters assaulted on the streets. It's the citizens, the people that don't make the decisions about what you were saying there about South America, Latin America, all this kind of stuff. And, I like, for me, I think when we look at Poland and how they've addressed immigration, that's how it needs to be handled. There's no, we've had a problem. They have if you cross the border and you don't have paperwork and you try and run from them, they just shoot you. And if they catch you, they just send you back on the next plane to where you came from. And they actually built a wall, and they don't have any extremist terrorist attacks taking place because it's about the people of the country before anyone else. And it
The
seems
thing
to
is,
me,
dude, in America, America's so big that what you're suggesting, number one, is impossible, and number two, the vast majority of our violent crime and any kind of terrorism stuff does not come from immigrants at all. It comes from right-wing white people. That's what it comes from. White men.
No. I disagree. We've had multiple terrorist attacks in the last 10 days.
I'm not saying the UK, bro. I'm telling you in America. I'm telling you in America, which is a totally different place. Number one, because it's so big and the geography is so vast. Like this whole idea of building a wall. This was nothing but a show. There's no way to build a wall. There's no fucking way, man. It goes through mountain ranges. It goes through rivers. It goes, Jesus Christ. There's never going to be a wall that's going to keep people built on the southern border. So sorry. It's just not going to fucking happen.
If everyone just donates,
of why these people are coming.
Quinn,
why are these people coming, right?
No, it shouldn't be why are these people coming. It should be if everyone just donates 3 bricks.
It should, because everyone is overwhelmed by these people coming.
Yeah,
I
understand America is overwhelmed.
There's hordes of refugees coming.
But
if we want to fix immigration, we should stop their desire to come.
Quinn, Poland took over 2 million refugees from the Ukraine, right?
Yeah.
All had jobs.
Don't get me started on the Ukrainian refugees.
All of this stuff. So there's ways of helping refugees. But we're not talking about refugees. We're talking about military-aged men who are coming into a country and destabilizing the culture, the lifestyle, everything. You can say, well, hey, America.
I'll confess my ignorance on what's happening in the UK on that. In America, that's just.
I'm talking. It's the same.
Families that are coming.
It is the same thing that is taking place in America that's taking place here. I will say this though: when you hear about an atrocity in America, it usually is some teenage or early 20s white male. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Okay. But let's not
some old 50s mega dude.
Let's not get into the American healthcare system, mental health problems, and undiagnosed everything when everyone has a gun. Okay. Now I believe everyone. As far as you want to know Ron's take on gun control, where he stands, you should all have twice as many of them. Okay. Many guns. You should be able to mount that on one vehicle per home. Okay. Because listen, it's better to have an armored Humvee with a minigun on top.
Move to Texas, man. That's what it's like.
Dude, I'll be honest. I would make the whole state of Texas honorary Scottish people, right? They are what I imagine Scotland would be like if we had gun culture, right? Because
oh my gosh, dude, there's such a gun culture there. It's crazy,
dude. But it's freaking Texas. I mean, if anyone's going to have it, it's going to be Texas, right? And I'm okay with it. Trust me. Honestly, we should all one per household, armored Humvee with a minigun on the back. You don't get to drive it unless society breaks down. Okay, the keys are in a smash here in case of world, down economic. In case the Libyans, you remember Back to the Future, the Libyans. In case the Libyans arrive, we've got our Hummers with our miniguns. Because it's not so much about how many people are armed.
We destroyed that country too.
Yeah, probably. So I think it's Switzerland or Sweden. It's one of those two where every single household has a firearm issued by the government, right?
Yeah, I think it's Switzerland.
It's in a little lockbox, and there's a little dude that comes around once a year that's like, hello, I need to check your, I don't know why he's German, I need to check your firearm, checks it off, you're good. So that if you need to overthrow the government, you can overthrow the government, right? Or if you get invaded, you're all armed. So it's not a question of if
I don't think they're going to overthrow the government with their small arms.
Well, again, though,
it's kind of like the Texans who are like, I got my AR-15 just in case there's a tyrannical government. Like, bro, I don't think you're going to win against a tyrannical government. But good luck.
No, listen. But you'd have a better chance than using stones, okay? 9mm still a badass weaponry compared to.
I mean, dead is dead, man. You're not going to stand a chance. It's silly.
Nah.
This comes from a firearms enthusiast.
No, listen.
I've had hundreds of firearms.
You're talking to someone from Scotland. Do you remember the Romans took over most of the world and then came to Scotland and went, nah, build a wall. They built a wall, okay? Talking about walls, Quinn. They just threw that together. Once he seen the blue painted,
that's what we need. We need the Romans to come back and build more walls.
dude, listen, all I'm saying, I said this earlier, if everyone in America just donates 3 bricks, right? Everyone donates 3 bricks and a weekend of your time to go and cement the bricks in, the wall will be built in no time. Okay? The wall will be built in no time. 3 bricks and a weekend of your time.
All right, you handle the part that goes through the Guadalupe Mountains.
I'm going to handle the parking.
You're in charge
okay,
of that.
You can no. I'm just going to worry about where everyone's going to park their car, and then you can worry about the logistics, and then we'll both meet on the day and go, I haven't solved the problem of this, and you can go, I haven't solved this either. Be like, well, let's just leave, right? And then just get everyone laying bricks, and wherever the wall goes, that's where the wall goes. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's a reality.
I think Mexico's going to be building the wall pretty soon because they're not going to want the Americans coming in.
Nah, listen.
Americans are going to be the immigrants soon.
There's one of 2 things is going to happen, right? One of 2 things is going to happen. We're all going to totally lose this battle, and there's going to be a civil unrest, and everyone's going to switch to Sharia law, and that's what's going to happen, right? Or there is going to be the first, like, Christian white country uprising in a long time. Okay, because we have got, if you look at the history of the white folk, right, it's a bit spicy, right? And it's been a while since I feel like anyone tried to be
spicy. We've literally colonized the world.
I'm not saying
it's more than a bit spicy.
Colonizing is a bit of a strong word. Okay, we arrived some places and we were like, hey, we're going to stick around. All right. And some places were like, hey, that's okay. And some places were like, actually, no. And there were some atrocities. Okay. There was some theft.
That's a very like white version of what happened.
Some theft. There's some theft that took place of national treasures. Just some. Okay. Just a teeny bit, Quinn. A smidgen. Okay, a smidgen. Okay. And we don't like it. We don't listen. There's something's going to happen, Quinn. And I'm not saying I'm going to start it, but something's going to kick off soon because 3 million people gathered in London peacefully.
Was Quinn. This with that that super alt-right guy, Tommy
Robinson, right?
Robin Dick or something?
No, listen. This is you and I are so different, but yet so similar. It's brilliant.
I know, dude. I'm just gonna keep taking the piss out of you.
How dare you, sir?
We can have a fun conversation here.
Yeah, but but it's okay. It's okay because I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh no, he's not a dickhead because of this. It's fine. I'm not going to change your mind, and you're not going to change my mind on that point. So that's why I'm moving through.
I mean, my mind's very open, actually.
No, it's not, Quinn. Your mind's not open.
I've changed my mind lots of times, man. I literally used to think exactly like you, bro. I used to be a conservative, right-wing Christian.
I'm not a Christian.
I used to propagate this stuff. Yeah, I used to teach this stuff, and
I only found out what left wing and right wing were about 4 weeks ago. Okay, just to be clear. Okay, and I'm definitely right wing. Definitely, that's kind of where I'm sitting. Because, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. But I can't get behind. Also, blink twice if you're in a country where if you go against the faith we're talking about, they'll assassinate you. Like, who's
gonna do that?
Oh, I don't know. I'm just making sure that you can freely discuss this matter. Okay. So if there's any, I imagine.
Dude, listen, man. I feel safer here in Egypt. Okay. In all aspects than I would in America.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean the stuff that's happening in America, the clampdowns on your free expression of speech, things like this. Holy shit!
I mean, I'm not going to lie. It looks really chill where you are. Like, I'm not going to lie. The whole
dude,
like it looks
I'm
chill.
telling you, man, it's awesome. Yeah, like I'm not saying this is that Egypt doesn't have any problems or that a lot of these Muslim countries don't have any problems. Of course they fucking do. Every country does. But when I look at the problems that are in America, are you fucking kidding me? Dude, I can walk down the street with $20 bills hanging out of my pockets here, and I'm perfectly safe. Like the people that are here are like just like I'm shocked, dude. I'm shocked at how different they are than the fear that's been put into us with movies and news and shit like this. Like, they're honestly the most hospitable, kind, loving people. Does it mean all of them are? No, of course not. But dude, I'm telling you, the vast majority of people here that I've met are just the salt of the earth, man. Wonderful people, man. All right, so I like it.
Listen, I'm here for you. Now, do you think that's because the entire nation that you're in follows the culture that has been their culture for a long time?
No, I mean, of course, their culture's been their culture for a long time. They're way older than we are. But no, I mean, I think it's because we've been lied to, bro. Is it a unified people? Is it a people that aren't being oppressed by a Christian? For the most part, I would say Egyptians are very proud of being Egyptians. However, of course, there are many of them who are like not for their government or
you're gonna have to elaborate.
There are many that are for. It's just like our countries, man. And there are many different people. There are like, if you go say north of Cairo, like even an hour, 2 hours, now you're getting more into the country. These people are more traditional, right? Just like in the United States, you go like the cities, the people there are more like, they're more educated, they're more progressive, they're more diverse. They've maybe traveled been some places. You go to the country in the United States, same thing, rural, less educated, maybe haven't been around as much, and much more traditional and conservative. It's the same thing, man. Like, there's so many similarities between the cultures, and I didn't know that because we have been lied to, so that we're afraid of these people, so that we allow our governments to bomb the shit out of them and control the Middle East. That's really what it is. Because we don't care if they're bombed because we're so afraid of them, right? And that's propaganda. That's what's happening.
Well, yeah,
we just go and live in one of these countries, you're like, wow, this is different than I knew.
When they rebranded human life to insurgent many moons ago, they definitely established this disconnection from what was going on in certain countries. Now, I just want to address something. So apparently, I don't know what is going on in Mexico, right? Mexico is full of illegals from the USA. They're getting bombarded and invaded with more. You're clueless and ignorant to what's going on, Ron. Listen, I imagine there is a wave of
what's going on in Mexico, I lived there, actually.
A wave of blue-haired individuals flocking to Mexico, trying to escape the oppressive Nazi regime that is, of course, the Trump administration, right? So maybe Mexico will understand better now what America's been facing for decades and decades. Maybe Mexico will eventually build their own wall. Brilliant. Again, Mexico, if all of you just get together 3 bricks, okay, and one weekend and just all meet and just get that stuff laid down, okay?
I think you definitely need to live somewhere where there's a wall.
No,
it's a circular wall. So nobody can get in that's not like you.
No, but listen, right? I believe that it's okay for me to want to preserve the cultures in which I've been brought up in. The country that I live in is governed by. And I don't think that makes me fascist to want to throw anyone out of this country who is a threat, who isn't here legally, who doesn't have the right documentation, who isn't here to benefit this country, has no right to be here. And I don't mean they shouldn't be here. They have zero rights to be here. And that goes for America. That goes for anywhere. I mean, that goes for Egypt. But there's something going on in the world, and it's off balanced with what is happening with the importation of these military-age men and Antifa and the pushback that we've seen in America. We've seen, I've never even heard of ICE until this year, and by God, have we heard of them now? The masks,
because they're like the fourth largest funded military in the world now.
But that paints a picture of a vast issue.
Of what?
Of a vast issue of needing to fund to that extent to get every undocumented individual out.
They don't need to fund to that extent. That's the point. Trump has militarized them, and he's using them against his political opponents. Like, for example, why is he invading the cities that he's invaded? They actually have lower crime rates than red cities. Why isn't he invading the red cities? right? I mean, he's not. He's invading his political opponent's cities. And I mean, in this latest thing, for example, when the courts shut down him using the National Guard from one state, Governor Abbott from Texas said, "Oh, you can use our National Guard." So literally, we're using the National Guard, the military, from a red state to go and assault blue cities. We're in the Civil War already. This is the soft Civil War. Like this isn't a president who is like attempting.
Would you not say though that
stop
the blue states,
illegals from coming in the country? This is a president who is weaponizing the military against his own citizens who are from a different political belief than him.
So then, just with you saying that, it makes sense then that these states would have an overpopulation of undocumented individuals because of the mindset of these states towards undocumented individuals.
Okay, listen, here's the thing, man. It doesn't have anything to do with undocumented individuals in the United States. It doesn't, okay? It has to do with weaponizing the political process. Because statistically speaking, what Trump is doing is he's not attacking places that are like high on crime. He's saying, oh, we got to go to war-ravaged Portland because Portland is like, oh my gosh, it's burning down. Everything, all the images, fake. All of the statistics he's using, fake. Like, people are showcasing what Portland is really like. The crime rate is low. There is not a lot of problems there. And he's going to, because Portland is known as like kind of the headquarters of the liberals.
Well, yeah, I mean, right? I've seen YouTubers.
Same thing, man.
I've seen independent journalism happening in Portland, and it paints
the independent journalism that you're seeing. Those videos that you're talking about, they're fake. They came out. They have fake people giving them.
I mean, no. I mean,
do you know who that journalist works for? It works for TPUSA, Charlie Kirk's organization.
The individual I'm talking about. I mean, he's probably 2 DMs away from me getting a hold of him. He is not on under anyone's payroll. He is just a YouTuber who lives there and who is showing it.
All you have to do is you have to look at the very FBI. You have to look at the crime.
So it's all fake, Quinn, right?
These crime rates
video
are
is
not
fake.
high compared to the red cities, and he's not going in there because there's all this crime happening from illegal immigrants. He's not, because the crime rates are low.
I don't know, man. I think the history lessons you can give are impeccable. I think, in my opinion, your political mindset is sort of, I feel like, but you'll say the same thing about me. I feel like you're burying your head in the sand to really what's going on. You're probably thinking I'm burying my head in the sand to what's really going on. And that's the beauty of discussion. And look, we're not declaring war on each other, Twitter. Okay? Look, it's 2 grown men who disagree with each other about the majority of the things we've been talking about, and it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's okay. Okay, because sometimes
it's okay under one circumstance. It's okay as long as we're willing to continue talking like this. We're willing to work together. Yeah. We're willing to be elected to office. We're willing to work together on laws and making sure this and that. And we're willing to not inflict violence on each other. And we're willing to not like oppress each other. Because once we start doing that, that's when, like, people say, oh, well, we just have a difference of opinion. A difference of opinion is fine. But when you're using that difference of opinion and your privilege as a person in power to oppress other people, that's where the issue comes. And that's what we have happening in the United States, at least right now.
When you said the word privilege
with
there.
That, bro, I have got to go, man, because it is 10:30 here, and I am falling asleep. But I had so much fun hanging out with you. And we'll do it again, Quinn. We'll definitely do it again. Barrel of laughs, man. So
we'll do it again. But what we'll do is we'll maybe do an old school debate where we'll pick a topic. I'll actually research some stuff, and then we'll have a debate about it. Because I think you'd be a great person to do that with. Because why not? People need to witness
here's what we should do, though, man. Because listen, here's the thing, man. I'm not right or left. I'm not liberal or conservative. I'm not.
Okay.
I'm somebody who wants the fucking truth, man. And right now, I happen to align more with the left than the right.
That's right.
But I'm still not a fan. I still think this is 2 wings of the same disease bird. Okay. And so this is what we do in a debate. And this is what I love to do. Pick a topic. We could both research both sides of the topic, and then we'll take half the time, and I'll take one side, you take the other, and then the second half of the time we'll switch sides.
Listen, we'll do something like that. Okay, we'll do something like that. But I just want to say to everybody, it's really interesting to hear. Getting stuck in an echo chamber is dangerous. Okay, and only hearing and interviewing people that sit and nod along is not my cup of tea. I enjoy hearing the other side because it's so important that we educate ourselves. Okay, and we take on board what other people have, their views and what they've got to say, because otherwise we are not free thinking anymore. We are just drones. Okay. And whether it's me, the mainstream media, whoever it is that you get your news from, question everything. Okay. And find your own results and your own truth. And Quinn, thank you so much. I just want to remind everybody, Quinn's down in the description. Go and get his book, Blowback. I'm sure a lot of you will love it. And some of you will be like, this guy is not on my wavelength. And that is okay. Okay. But listen, go and check out his book. Thank you, everybody. Anybody who was a bit taken aback by the choice of guests this evening, it's just the way it goes, man. We got to have a difference of opinions, and Quinn has been great. So thank you so much, mate. Thanks, I will see you all in about 20 minutes. You'll get an automatic link to go to my next show, and I'll see you there. Quinn, thank you very much. Thank you to the mods. Thank you to all of the Shaun Attwood. We'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much, and take care of yourself. Peace. All right, man.